from Mommy. I'm so pumped to be with you guys here. This week we are talking about money, and Mommy is a resource to everybody who is planning a birth all the way to raising a kid, okay? So every Wednesday, what do? I talk to all my baby mamas, my pregnant moms, my moms who are super postpartum, all of that stuff, getting ready for baby. Let's talk about it in terms of this week's theme, money. How many times have I met with a pregnant mom, a pregnant couple, planning their birth, and I say, what kind of a birth do you want? Tell me your vision for this birth. I hear all the time, you guys, I really would love to have a birth with a midwife, or I'd love to be having a home birth, or I wish I were having my baby in a birth center, but my insurance doesn't cover it as much as having a hospital birth, so I guess we just can't afford to have the birth that we want to have. And almost every time, I'm not exaggerating, I'm trying to think and make sure I'm not exaggerating, but I'm not exaggerating to say that almost every time that I hear that from a mom, we fast forward to her birthing day. She is frustrated because she's not having the birth she wants. Maybe she doesn't realize that that's why she's feeling frustrated, but she's getting pushback from her care provider on the things she wants. She doesn't feel comfortable where she's giving birth. All of these things manifest in the way that she manages the end of her pregnancy and her birth. And those feelings of your body or your head or your heart or whatever telling you, this is what I want for my birth, I really want this for my birth, before you get to the but part of that sentence, the part where you say, well, I really would love it if I could have blah, 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 that's not just you being sort of indulgent or fantasy or weird or like something you saw on TV. There's a reason why that birth speaks to you, and there's a reason, a very physical, meaningful reason why you need to listen to that voice, because it will manifest itself in your birth experience in measurable, impactful ways. The length of your labor, distress during labor, how effective your contractions are, all of those things, not to mention bigger things that we could debate, like the cascade of interventions and things like that. So if you're feeling that you really want to have a birth and the only thing stopping you is money, I want to pose to you two questions right now. How much, most of my clients are married when we first meet. Most of my clients have a partner, and if they haven't, I guarantee you've been to a wedding. I want you to ask yourself, how much did my wedding cost if you are married? Or how much does a wedding cost? How much do people spend on their weddings? In the U.S., it's tens of thousands of dollars, and nobody even blinks an eye. Nobody thinks, oh my God, that's outrageous, even though, if you think about it, it is outrageous. Does your wedding really matter? Not really. Your marriage, that matters. Your wedding day, it doesn't really matter, but we spend tens of thousands of dollars on it. Then fast forward to when you're having your baby, if you're following the normal, like, culturally acceptable chain of events, fast forward to when you're having your baby, and people are balking at having to spend $3,000 for a home birth midwife or $2,000 to have their baby in a birth center or whatever. Is $2,000 or $3,000 a lot of money? Yeah, it is. What is the value of that birth experience? Way, way, way bigger than the value of your wedding. I'm telling you guys, that's just a little head scratcher question that I like to ask people to just be like, oh wait, maybe the reason why you're thinking about this value thing differently is because we have completely flipped around in our heads what we need to be spending money on, what matters, what the impact, and what is the real cost of having your birth go down in a way you don't want it to go down, and conversely, what is the real value of starting your life off as a parent on the right foot in a way that's a positive birth experience that's going to be beneficial to you and your child? That is the question you need to be asking yourself. And the second question I want to pose to you guys when it comes to deciding how much money you want to spend on your birth is your hesitancy to go for this birth that you say you really, really want, is your hesitancy, is the real obstacle money? Or is it a convenient thing to say because saying, I really would love to have a home birth, but I can't afford it, is a lot easier than saying, I'd really love to have a home birth, but I'm kind of scared. And that means that you have to do work. That means that you have to face your fear. That means you have to do a lot of hard and scary stuff to get ready for this birth that maybe your head and your heart are telling you want, your gut is telling you want, but you are afraid to go for it, okay? So when you say that money is the thing stopping you from having the birth you want, I want you to ask yourself, is that really true? Or is money just a tool that you're using to avoid facing the fear that you might have about this alternative birth that you might be hoping for? And the last thing I want to plant a little seed in your mind when it comes to birth cost is, if your birth doesn't go smoothly, if your birth doesn't go in the way that's going to be the least interventive and the way that you want it to be, and the reason why is even in part due to your birthplace, is it worth it? Is it worth it to save that money? And are you even going to be saving money? Because depending on your health insurance plan, you might wind up paying a huge hefty hospital bill for a bunch of interventions that you might have been able to avoid if you had gone in the direction that felt the best to you. This video is not about trying to convince you to have a home birth or have your baby in a birth center or any of that stuff. This video is to convince you that paying attention to what you want for your birth, whatever it is priceless. And don't let money be the thing that stops you, because there's tons and tons and tons of hacks to get around the perceived obstacle of money when it comes to birth. And if you need help with that, if you want suggestions on how to make the birth you want happen for yourself, even if you think it's going to cost too much money, hit me up, because I can help you in so many ways. I love you guys so much. I want you to value yourselves beyond finances this week. That's what this whole week is about. Yesterday we blew out this scarcity mindset myth busting that we talked about, valuing yourself, and what is the true cost of saying that your health, happiness, and wellness are luxury items. What's the true cost of that? That scarcity mindset is hurting you. And now I want you to flip it and apply it to your birth. What is your scarcity mindset doing to you when it comes to having the birth that you know is going to resonate for you and is what your body and your baby and your head and your heart are telling you is the right way to go? I love you guys so much. Tune in again tomorrow. We're going to be talking about do's and don'ts, tips and tricks when it comes to money and kids, specifically allowance. Do you give it to your kids? How do you give it to your kids? What are the strings attached, etc.? Tune in tomorrow. We're going to talk about do's and don'ts when it comes to allowance. Love you guys. Keep getting ready for those babies and loving on your kids. Bye.